Sorry. Sorry. Multiple times.
Hi everyone. It is I'm a little late, but it is what it is. Welcome one and all to the More Than I Needed to Know About. So today we're gonna spend 90 minutes bullshitting about rhythm games, the history, some lesser known things. We're gonna take some jabs at communities and people because, well, it kind of happens everywhere. So let's get this thing started. So who the hell is this guy, and what the fuck is wrong with him?
Where the hell is Chef?
Actually, that's a very good question because he's supposed to be here.
He is part of the 80 trillion man 6-car initial D tournament that will take place until next year's MAGFest.
So,
Can we hack that truck in? Welcome to Music Game Hell.
it's less about who I am and more about the things that have happened across the history that I just so happen to be involved with.
Yeah, Music Game Hell.
So like, way back in the day, we started with DDR Freak back in 2003. I did a lot of really cool things here. I worked on the step chart database there. I did forum moderation. The New York forum got locked entirely at one point in time. How bad the drama got. So, like,
Unfortunately, the state did not get locked.
yeah. I banned Twen from DDR Freak. Who's stand up right here? I banned him from DDR Freak. That's a very notable and important thing to mention here. So DDR Freak.
He's still banned.
For those who don't know, basically if you went to a DDR tournament, you knew about it by going on DDR Freak. That was like the huge hub for the longest time while rhythm games were fairly active around that era until, they died out. Yeah, and then it came back. I also worked on Bomani Style. 2012, they put it down. Yeah, this is a really good screenshot. Yeah. The Internet Archive is a wealth of information, let me tell you. Please donate to them sometime because a lot of this content did come from them because a lot of these websites don't exist anymore. But I've remembered so many old things that the archive has kept. So yeah, Bomani Style, more stuff there. We released tons and tons of sim files. Are there any sim mods in the house? Any sim files?
I'm the administrator.
Wow.
What?
Okay.
Sim mod. I did.
So we had the huge sim file database in Bomani Style. That was kind of like the start of Stepmania and, at the time, Dance with Intensity being huge. Yeah. I also banned Twen from Bomani Style. I want to make note of that.
Doing God's work.
Also around that era, we had this place called DDR Maniacs, 2004. There's this post here by this dude CMCM releasing some sim files. In 2002.
Stand up so we can all point
And,
clap for him.
Yeah. So Chris has been a staple here from the start, I would say, for the community.
He's like 50.
Yeah.
I have a mortgage.
I also banned Twen from there also. Keeping in in rhythm here. Yeah. Well, there's this website
I have no idea what this place is.
yeah, I can't really talk about it. Literally, you go there and it's a blur. Like,
It actually looks like
yeah.
this.
Completely the man in the corner.
It's the ghost house.
It is the ghost house. It's the ghost house. We welcome you all to it. But, you know, this website, I'm sure the majority of people here either know about it or are a member of it, and it's still around and it's a thing, but, you know, if anyone ever asks, you give them that look.
Is that a picture from your youth?
You know what you don't want to tell. So you give them that look, you're like, huh.
Did you wear that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So let's talk about rhythm games, huh? Can we do that? Let's talk about it. So let's talk about DDR.
Look at that sweet basketball court. Yeah, that marquee's broken right now. Apparently Raspberry Pis are pieces of junk, so don't buy them.
Yeah, we might need to buy some spares.
Yeah, buy those. We're pulling some notes up now, but
So this is the Bimani game that most of you probably actually know.
Yeah.
Because it's the only one that has really gotten widespread release in the United States.
this is the reason you're all actually here, except for Matt Vanston, who has been playing with Fleckbeat for the last 18 years, despite it only being out for a few years.
DDR is a gateway drug.
Yes, if you played rhythm games, probably you got your start playing Dance Dance Revolution, or maybe you started playing with Guitar Hero, Rock Band, anything like that. Something that would get you into playing rhythm games, that's why you're here. So maybe you started playing Osu first, and if you did, I am sorry. But I mean, there's a lot of interesting shit that, like, DDR didn't always like have everything that you see here. I mean, it started out really super friggin' basic. There were no speed mods, no, like, they didn't even have a Maniac difficulty to start with, like, way back in the day.
Actually, the first version, the arrows didn't even disappear. They
No.
added that in the internet ranking version.
So yeah, the arrows would just keep floating up even if you hit them on time.
Now, to some of you, they still don't have speed mods. We hate all of you.
They didn't, I mean, it was originally flat. There were no color-coded arrows. They had to add that in a later version. Even some of the songs that they originally had planned for some of the versions didn't actually make it out of the versions that they wanted to. Xanadu, which was supposed to be a third mix, ended up being, it was delayed to fourth. Yes, no, licensing issues. Yeah. I swear to God. It was, yeah. What?
Yeah, it was your third mix, dude.
I played on a Japanese cat.
It must have been in one of the other.
It's not the Korean version.
The Korean, okay, yeah, the Korean version it was.
It's not on Korean and it's not on Asian, it's on Japanese.
Yeah, and yeah.
See, this is the shit that we talk about like all the time. We just have debates and like discussions about rare things and unknown shit that no one knows about. Oh, one thing most people probably didn't know. So when they did DDR Extreme, they had a contest for fan voting what song you wanted in Extreme. Across the Nightmare ended up winning, but the Safari was an option actually.
Japanese players just sat there and pressed V, enter over and over on
To be fair, no Japanese players knew who Chadley was, so none of them came on the Safari.
What's the move to in Africa?
The original voting was DJ Battle, Cat Song, Morning Music, Threshold, Without You Around, Flowers for Albion, The Safari, Across the Nightmare, and Waza. And Across the Nightmare actually ended up winning that. But we could have had the Safari in DDR. That would have been a fantastic thing.
Each of those songs cost roughly $50 US to license, and Konami couldn't afford more than one.
And then there was the fun debacle when Extreme got released on the home version. People started poking around. They're like, Memories is in this game, but it wasn't unlocked, and people couldn't figure out how to unlock it. until someone a couple years later went to Burger King's website when they were promoting something related to DDR, and you had to play a little mini flash game, and you got the unlock code for memories. It was like years later, and nobody advertised it at all. It just, that's where it was.
And that Flash game was still better than Flash Revolution is today.
That's just kicking someone while they're down, Anthony.
We don't talk about Flash Revolution. Oh, and then we got the Mania 5P here. Yeah, that's no, half the lights aren't working, which is actually fairly common for these cabinets. The lights die all the time. Trust me, I owned one. So Beatmania was Konami's first foray into the whole DJ simulation idea, 5 keys and a turntable. It was quite difficult at first, and the scaling eventually got better, but each mix seems to have its own timing window, which is really, really annoying. So you can play one mix or one song from one mix, and the timing will be entirely different from another song from another mix, because Konami didn't know how to keep things consistent for some reason. They're really bad at things like that. The 5-key cabinets also had a little mini design, so you could have like a very, very small, like mini 5-key cabinet. They only made it for like third mix, I think, but they were like super compact, and you could
it
like,
had this adorable 19-inch monitor in it.
yeah, it was like, and the turntables were like half the size, and the keys were way closer to the turntable. That was one of the other designs of the cabinet. And then they came out with 2DX. I love the Chinese resort anthem. So this is not... The Chinese resort anthem cabinet has 2 right sides, okay? I swear, this is real.
It is the most bootleg-looking thing China's ever made.
And I really, really want one. So please tell your contacts to get me a Chinese resort anthem cabinet. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations, Chris, on your poor purchases.
Oh well, just another machine.
Will it fit in the kitchen?
I hope so. So they had also 2 designs of the cabinets for 2DX. Originally it was called Beat Stage 2 in the US and Beatmania 2 in Japan. And the cabinets were much smaller than what you see now. And they're very rare. I think only one exists anymore.
So while I was in Japan, I spoke with a few people that knew about those cabinets. Apparently, about a dozen of them were made before they made them simultaneously. The first run of Beatmania 2DX and the first run of Beat Stage 2. Apparently, the 2 were designed as a location thing for Europe, hence the name Beat Stage. Then they scrapped the whole idea and sold them to some popular arcades in Japan because they just wanted them gone. There are 3 known that I can track down right now, 1 at an arcade and 2 at people's houses in Japan. I'm trying to get one really bad.
And don't check that AAA on that machine.
So, Beatmania 2DX, I guess, I really don't have much else to say about it because everyone here, I think, plays it.
If you play on the right side, you're wrong.
I am so wrong. I am so wrong.
Side pride.
And then Konami had pop music. We all know and love.
The guy on the left is a stud.
Probably Konami's most colorful, friendly game. Just, well, I think Future Countdown replaced it, yeah, but yeah. 9 buttons, absolutely colorful and beautiful, and uber cute.
So,
Stupid hard.
interesting fact about pop and music. So Konami came out with an LCD cabinet recently. You probably don't see many of those ever. The original run of LCD cabinets had a bunch of ghosting issues, and the key sound, the buttons felt a little hollow. Arcades refused to buy them because of this. So Konami just stopped support of the old cabinets, and Lapistoria On just plays like crap, and that is Konami's solution to force arcades. So when I was in Japan, almost every arcade had all LCD cabinets, which are much better now. They've fixed all the issues, but Konami just strong-arm people into these new cabinets.
And we'll talk more about Konami strong-arming people.
Actually, that's the only time they've ever strong-armed anyone, ever.
Strong-arming comes up a lot in music games.
We also have a para.
And by we mean Eric Holmaker has all of them.
Well, that's not true. Derek brought one and dragged it onto the game room floor, and then stared at it for a while, and they tucked it away somewhere. It's here somewhere.
So there was a Japanese and a Korean version of Para. The Korean version had more Korean music, and Hold on Me was sung in Korean. It was sung in Korean for the Korean version of the game when it was done in Japanese in the Japanese version. So they definitely tried to cater more to the Korean market, which is actually one of the first times I think Konami really tried to do that. They didn't have any other Korean releases of rhythm games around that time. Para was the only one that really seemed to really want to catch on in another region outside of Japan.
It was the most different, too. So the Para Dancing, which is the Korean version, was the only one to offer you support just to turn everything backwards. So you can face away from the machine. And even though it came out before Para Second, they never incorporated that into a later Para.
Then we have Dance Maniacs. This actually got a Korean release too.
Dance Freaks.
Actually, yeah, Dance Freaks.
It's very similar to Dance Maniacs. They did a lot of the whole, load the same songs, remove the vocals, call it a week, maybe run it through MIDI, you're done. Yay, licensing.
Yep.
Speaking of though, is Alan Seitz here?
Oh yeah. Yeah, can we talk about
Alan!
Yeah.
Where you at, boy? Get up!
Where's Alan? Where's Alan?
Stand up!
So
Stand up!
So, Alan Seitz here wrote Dance Maniacs Update, which you see down in the game room right now, and a whole bunch of weeaboo trash, and a whole bunch of Konami originals. Dance Maniacs back to life.
Yeah.
So when you play Bad Apple on Dance Maniacs later today, you have him to thank.
Yes,
Yes.
That is the only machine in the entire game room you can play Bad Apple on.
You're a liar.
And Other Lies You Won't Believe by Anthony.
I believe number 7.
I have a special place for Dance Maniacs in my heart, only because the game was so short-lived. It only got like two releases, and then the append. The append.
It counts.
It counts, yes.
They have new content.
But it ended there, and there was so much more life to have in the game, I think. And I'm so glad that we have a newer version that's updated, that does way more cool stuff, adds the hold notes, the speed mods, makes it much more modern. So I'm really glad that we still have Dance Maniacs around, because yeah, please play it. It's so much fun. It's one of those rhythm games where you don't care if you're good or bad at it. It's just fun to play. And I feel like most rhythm games now don't have that element anymore. It's very competitive, like very hyper competitive, and you lose some of the love in it, I think. So, but that's all right. We got Guitar Freaks here, which, yeah, Guitar Hero.
What?
No. This is what came out first, guys, all right? Let's put all the arguments to rest.
Yeah, way back in the 90s.
Well, I mean, if you really want to go further back, we can mention MTV Drumscape. I mean, that even predates.
My head hurts.
Yeah. So, and then Drummania, kind of the same thing. Yeehaw. You can link Drummania and Guitar Freaks together, sessioning. You can play the same song at the same time. Because the game is actually key sounded, it really actually sounds like you're playing the instruments, which is probably one of the coolest things that I've ever seen a rhythm game do, and I'm really glad that Konami actually implemented that. I didn't think that they would be able to pull that off, but they did it, and it works really well. So, you know, at the time, I think 1998, no arcade games had any type of, you know, syncing like this, I think, for music. So Konami was the first, and they did a pretty fantastic job of it. And then they added Keyboard Mania. And then you can Super Session Keyboard Mania with Guitar Freaks and Drumania. And you can play all three at the same time, playing the same song, which just added to the ridiculousness. I don't think...
Yeah, just mentioning though, if any one player fails during a Super Session, everyone is kicked out. So you really have to find a good group of people to play with.
No pressure.
And if you own all the equipment to make a Super Session, it's still probably not going to work.
We tried a really, really long time, and it didn't work. But
Thankfully.
And then we started getting some newer stuff. Konami finally realized that they couldn't have the same one-trick ponies over and over again, so they started innovating. And we got Yubi, which, you know,
is the better of the games that came out at this time. He's not even paying attention.
And this is one of the few new games that's actually gotten an official release in the United States on the iPad.
Yep.
So you can actually play this one if you really want.
This game. I should just let Matt come up here and talk about Reflect Me, because I feel like there isn't anybody better. Matt, come on. Matt, come up here and talk about Reflect Me for us, because honestly, there's no better person than Matt Vanston here to talk about Reflect Me.
Yeah, he's going to tell us it's good.
For some of us, this is a great game.
That's the best game!
5 cabinets that exist in North America. I've been harping on Anthony here to get one, and he just refuses to. And the story just...
Beat Stream's a better game.
Reflect Me is just a touchscreen game. That doesn't have any sense of identity. And then a year after that, it's like, oh, I love Beat Stream, which is a touchscreen game itself. I love this. I have a cabinet. It's the best game I've ever played.
Agree with that?
Best downloads forever.
Thank you, Matt.
That's all I got.
This game also has the worst mascot of any music game ever.
Oh, please, the mouse is adorable.
But not a waifu.
Yeah.
Speaking of waifu mascots.
Speaking of waifu mascots, which is basically waifu mascot like everywhere. Practically everything about Sound Voltex is fan curated. They even curate the artwork for the song jackets from the fans. Those are submitted. Half of the songs, I'm pretty sure, are like fan submitted, or they just find really, really cheap licenses and they throw like everything in this game. And yes, they ended up with Bad Apple, I think, right? No? Yeah. So Bad Apples and Voltex.
Chris over here wearing a Sound Voltex shirt. Yeah.
We got a few Voltex lovers in the house.
Twist my knobs.
This game.
This game here, Dan Evo. So the Kinect kind of blew up, and people realized, well, we can actually dance for real. So we had Just Dance, and then Dance Evolution, and then there's like probably 3 others.
They
Dance
actually
Master.
came up on stage and gave a presentation about Dance Masters in 2007, completely high. And if you are looking for something on YouTube to really laugh at, you can look this one up. And it is like 5 minutes of him falling over talking about this game.
This is an amazing game. If you have not played it yet, it is in the game room. If you can't find it, look for the giant projector.
Yeah, just look up in the air, you'll see it.
Some future pom-pom. This game is a lot of fun. The difficulty scaling isn't there. It's not something you want to like take seriously, but
First newbie Monty to be killed.
yeah, this is the first out of all, of all the new generation rhythm games, this is the first one I think has gotten the axe. But it's still tons of fun. It has a couples mode where you play with your date, and you guys get to play little mini games together while you're playing the actual songs. And it'll make a heart, or the heart will break depending if you answer the questions correctly or not. It's really adorable. Konami really wanted to try to get more females, I think, into the arcades, and this, I'm not sure if it really worked or not.
They killed the EMU support for recently. As Chris said, it was the first game in a while to completely get the axe that quickly. I don't see it coming up on the slide, but I will say the next game to probably fall into that category is going to be Musica. Anyone didn't know Musica is a game created by Eric Yaki? Oh, wait, that's the end of it. Everything's confused. Musica is the current next up on the chopping block from Konami. The Cavs are already...
But all the round ones just got them, though.
Well, round one's got them. Konami sold them to them brand new under cost to get them in America. Probably for legal reasons, I don't know. But that being said, Musica cabinets can be acquired for pennies on the dollar right now. The game is completely dead in Japan.
Which is why I didn't mention it, because it's not worth mentioning.
More American round ones have Musica than Japanese round ones right now.
So there's other long and forgotten releases. So DDR, there was a karaoke edition for DDR, where you actually got to sing while you played a song. It was a commercial failure. Like it didn't.
Very safe.
Yeah, it didn't work out. Yeah. So that wasn't very widely used, but it was a thing. There was the Pop and B mouse, where you could play pop and music with your mouse.
Oh god.
It had multiple buttons.
How much did they charge for that thing? Was it $130?
Maybe. I want to see someone play like MMOs with it. You could totally do that. Like,
It does have like 9 extra buttons on it.
exactly. Oh, we got some Fighting Mania. This dude opens a Fighting Mania.
Just to specify, Fighting Mania,
Clay.
Fighting Mania is the Korean and European release.
Yes.
Punch Mania is the Japanese release, which actually got a sequel, Punch Mania 2. I believe I own the only working Punch Mania 2 in America. I also have the only other Punch Mania 2 kit I've ever seen in America. When Clay gets his cabinet working, at some point him and I will be dumb. Punch Mania 2 allows session the same way Guitar Freaks Drum Mania did. You can't go verse each other, but you go up the hill together, and that's freaking sweet. This is not a long and forgotten game. It's coming back in wait.
He's bringing it back.
Hey, Alan, when do I get Punch Mania update? We have mini mains.
And then there was DDR PC, which
In case you wanted
it exists.
worst version of Fourth Mix.
Yeah, literally. I don't know why Konami of Hawaii did DDR PC.
You spelled Step Mania wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, no, DWI was a thing at the time, I think.
Oh, Stepmania was a thing, but it was like 0.6. It was...
Yeah, it was bad.
I guess you could technically use it.
And then Konami did a bunch of slot machines, and they still do. They have this huge, massive warehouse in Nevada, actually, that they just finished building for building slot machines. They're huge into gambling. So there's tons and tons of Konami-branded slot machines in any casino you go to. They will sometimes license Bomani stuff in their slot machines in Japan, so you'll find like 2DX-related slot machines and things like that across the casinos there.
It's worth mentioning that this is not unique. Williams, which owned Midway Games, got into slot machines in the early 90s. It's actually common for arcade companies to get into gambling because of the similar coin-operated, high reliability standpoint of it.
One of Konami's actually biggest standing markets, and I would call it safe to say the reason Konami is still in business in the arcade division right now is actually metal pushers. So in Japan, not only do you have pachinko, which everyone knows, you have metal pushers. Basically, you got a stack full of tokens, and you literally line them up in a way that you just hold your thumb down, and they just go in one at a time. Imagine old people gambling. Imagine Foxwoods with that lady with that card and that string and that machine, 1,000 years old, smoking a cigarette, drinking a whiskey. Now, the best part is, you don't win anything. You win more of these tokens that can never be redeemed for cash again. So these old people, their goal is just to kill infinite time in Japan with no payout. And all of these games have EMU support now. So you literally have crossover events for other Konami non-rhythm EMU's games where you can unlock crap in the metal pusher if you play it in the real games. And they now save all the money in a separate Pacelli-style bag that you can never convert to Pacelli, and you win nothing. It's filled. These old people are just there to die.
It's exactly like your grandfather at Foxwoods.
The Konami's newest metal game won't even fit in this room. It would take up half the space, and it's taller than this. It's amazing. It's got water fountains inside of it.
So, thankfully, there was a resurgence of rhythm gaming recently. In the past few years, we've had a lot more new rhythm games coming up by other companies that aren't Konami, which is really good. It's healthy for the market, even if Konami still has their hands in some of it. So, Tunithim is coming out by Sega, and actually the online network service is provided by Konami here, so they still have their hands kind of in here.
Rhythm is actually the single most successful rhythm game in Japan right now.
Yes.
Every arcade I went to in Japan a few months ago had Rhythm. Now the thing about arcades in Japan is Sega no longer works with Konami. You will not find a single Konami game in any Sega arcade in Japan. Not only that, they're so anti-Konami at this point, they've imported pumps to replace DDRs. Every Sega arcade has a TX pumping up Prime. That's the whole reason that happened. But they don't care. They're making hand over fist money. And to the point that used cabinets are over 2 million yen, $20,000 right now.
Wow.
And they just you cannot buy them from arcades if you wanted to, because arcades are buying up used cabinets to have more of them.
So, yeah, Tunithim, super popular. We have My, the washing machine game.
Yes.
It's
The
really
linked pair of washing machines.
It's the new couples game in Japan.
Yes, I saw that video. I saw that.
We have B-Craft Cycling.
Oh.
There's actually a machine.
You already said my.
Yeah, it does play somewhat like My. Well,
It's actually properly pronounced Crash Clone. So you've noticed it's been down half of MAGFest, and good job, Neurojoy.
they still got some bugs to work out in it.
2 years old.
We got some Neon FM.
Yeah.
It's like playing pop music on dinner plates.
Yeah.
Is Eric Yaki in the room?
Is Yaki here? No? I mean, we do have some Neon FM people here. So, Chris is here, who writes some of the charts.
For those of you who don't remember, Neon FM actually started as a foot game.
Yes, it was a 5-panel
So
foot
you
game.
could play DDR on dinner plates.
It was better on stage.
It had a 5-panel layout like 5-key Beatmania, and you played with your feet. But there was a lot of drama that happened between Konami and Betson. So what happened here was they were going to make Neon FM the foot panel game, and they went to Betson. They were like, "Hey, we have this awesome game," and Betson was like, "All right, cool. Let's do something with this." And then Konami came around and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make Supernova." And Betson was like, "All right, cool, but we're already doing this game." And Konami was like, "Yeah, well, you're not doing that anymore. You're gonna make Supernova." And basically, Betson had no choice in the matter. So
We'll talk a lot about about the strong arming that has happened.
Neon FM basically died because Konami strong-armed them out of the American market.
Rocky went bald from all the stress.
And Betson, being a good student, learned how to strong-arm arcades from Konami. More on that later.
But we have a new version of Neon FM. It's in the arcades now, 2 cabinets. Please play it. It is so much fun. I have a blast playing it. It's really good. And that MLG chart is to die for.
And it has a really progressive interface, too.
Yeah.
You just get to pick a song and you put a quarter in and it works. But of course, everything at MAGFest is on free play.
Yep.
The other cool thing about Neon FM is it's one of the first American games to be brought to Asia. In a partnership with Enamiro, they're making cabinets in Asia right now and making a lot of pump it up style UI changes and additions to the game. It's really actually pretty cool to see an American game make it over to the Korean market.
It's got girls generation. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has girls' generation. Apparently, that's important. It has girls' butts. That's the important thing. Yeah, it has girls' butts. That's the best song in the game right there. A re-rave came out also. Yeah! We got Barry back there.
Everybody look at Barry.
Barry, Superstar Mitsuru back there.
Barry, you want to come up here and show off your tattoo?
He loves re-rave.
Now, it should be noted for legal reasons, it was actually made by Step Revolution now, not Evolution.
Right.
We won't get into any of those details.
So Barry here loves re-rave so much. He got it tattooed. That is some dedication right there. That is pure. Yeah.
Now, if you are friends with Barry on Facebook, there's a picture of both tattoos with his bare ass available for viewing right now.
Take it right here at MAGFest 2016.
Sweet Jesus, please report it for the kids.
Not appropriate, but it's still fun.
So now we're getting into the fun stuff. Konami will sue practically everybody. Because seriously, it's hard to talk about rhythm games without talking about all this that goes on. I know that it's a little bit more meta discussion than anything, but I think that's why we're all here. So so Konami owns patents on everything, okay? Literally they own patents on everying.
If you were wondering, that is Michael Alamode. Konami owns a patent on him.
So this is an actual screenshot of a patent they filed with a patent
I like the widescreen display that never actually made it.
Yeah, the emphasis on the original content is fine, obviously, but
No, that's there, I think.
so this shows Konami's patent both going upwards and downwards of timed hits,
2D notes
to the
on a
notes,
2D plane,
hitting a
on a
marker.
line.
Yes. This is basically the patent that Konami uses on just about everything.
And it's vague as fuck.
It's very vague, and they are very good with using it.
Abusing it was the right word.
Abusing is another good way of using it. Yeah, so we're going to talk about them against Jellicoe, and Miro, against Roxor,
Oh, you started with
Harmonix,
Roxor.
Pentavision, OC. Okay, that one is probably a good thing. I will thank them for that.
Wait, I see those two on the list. How do you sue a 14-year-old child?
So let's talk about Konami and Jellicoe. So we're going to talk about this game Jellicoe made called Steppin' Stage.
There's one on eBay right now.
You can buy one right now. So as you can tell, it's this weird 6-panel layout in a circle, and it has 3 CRTs, and
The cabinet weighs a ton.
yeah, it's massive and huge. Konami, this came out around the same time that DDR was becoming popular. So Jellicoe was trying to encroach on Konami's ideas and their arcade business.
Failed to look at the copyright.
They did a really bad job of it because Stepping Stage, the name itself, was never actually trademarked. So Konami literally did it for them. They registered the trademark Steppin' Stage, which is why there was never a Steppin' Stage 2. There was Steppin' Selection. because Step and Stage, they couldn't use the name anymore, so they had to change the name, literally. The ROM, so Jellicoe got sued by Konami, and they won, and then so they had to change all the ROMs in all the cabinets everywhere to get around some of the patents that that Konami was basically enforcing. And then there's this game here, VJ. Yeah. Four monitors.
All CRTs, again, weighs a ton.
Yeah, this was like, you know, a Beatmania type of game. And it was, you know, getting popular in the arcades. Konami basically was like, okay, if you want that, then I'm just not going to give you anything else. So they literally blacklisted any arcade that had a VJ cabinet and told them, if you want anything new from us, then you have to get rid of your VJ cabinet. Supposedly they were all put in a dumpster and set on fire. That was the response. I don't know how it went from out of the arcade to into the dumpster, but
I don't even think MAME has a dump in this game.
Yeah, this game is like super rare. Maybe one exists somewhere, I don't know, but...
There's probably one in a basement in China that nobody knows about that has been there since the 90s.
There is one in an arcade in Korea alongside a Step and Selection 1 and a Step and Stage, as well as several other rare games.
Oh, there you go. Korea.
That was hard to hunt down.
I was close.
Yeah, that was very hard information to hunt down.
So Konami also sued Andamiro, like way back in the day, when DDR and Pump It Up first came out. 3 separate countries. They were really gunning for each other. Like they sued in all major areas. They won in Japan, which is why you didn't see Pump in Japan for the longest time. They lost in Korea, which was probably a good thing. And then there was an out-of-court settlement in the U.S., which. Not many really people know about because it was out of court, so there was like no real mentioning of what the terms were. But we can kind of see what happened now that it's all in the past. So Konami, during that time, they only made console games, and Andamiro only made arcade games for the longest time. Basically, that's what the agreement was. Konami could have the console market, and Andamiro had the arcade market. But the Konami arcade cabinets came from overseas. They didn't violate any agreement, so Konami just turned a blind eye.
They were illegally imported, technically, from Japan and Korea, so Konami didn't have any say in the matter.
Yeah, the arcades were working on their own free will to get the cabinets in the U.S., so technically they didn't violate any terms.
And let's talk about the money being in CS games. That's where the money is.
Yeah,
which is why Konami took that side.
Yep.
Konami actually cooperated with Betson at making bootleg upgrade kits available in America, just because having an arcade mix is good for money in the CS market.
After 5 years, we saw Supernova AC, and then we saw Exceed for the Xbox. So that's pretty much what the terms were. For 5 years, Andamiro had the arcade market, Konami had the console market.
Now, a fun roll down rumor mill, and again, none of this is any type of solidified fact. A lot of theories from looking through legal documents, patents, designs, release dates, etc. It appears, from the sounds of it, one person invented Dance Dance Revolution, the whole theory, down to the pad design, the corner brackets, how the sensors worked, everything. And apparently he actually sold the rights to the game to Konami in Japan, and also sold the rights to the game to Andamiro in Korea. That's why you have games that came out months apart with nearly identical pads. But if you look inside of a pump pad and a DDR pad, there's very few differences. But these games come out months apart. Unless people were leaking information between two teams, there's no way to do that. And a lot of the theory is this one man who supposedly was an American man invented this game, sold the rights to this game. He did not invent it with buttons. That was actually Konami adding those buttons. That's why you see Pump Without and Konami With. And that was a huge factor in this lawsuit, because neither of them own the rights to this game in America, theoretically. They both just bought them in their respective countries.
Yep.
That also explains why there's 5 sensor connectors in DDR.
You spelled structural wrong again.
Yeah. So, I love this. I just want to mention this is the first In the Groove cabinet that ever existed. And the marquee, or the The panel around the CRT has crossovers, you assholes, so fucking learn them.
If you're not clapping right now, you're part of the problem.
Yes. I just want to point that out. So the cabinets were sold as conversion kits. They put stickers all over the decals. They replaced the hardware inside. But the cabinets themselves were still structurally a DDR cabinet. Nothing was different about them except for the appearances. Later on, Rockstar then came out with In the Groove for the PlayStation 2. Now, if you remember from my previous slide, Konami could only release console games at the time. So now Rockstar is hardcore encroaching on Konami's little egg basket here of money. And so Konami sued them and they won. And then all the assets for In the Groove ended up being owned by Konami. But the code's based off of Stepmania, so that means that we can just do whatever we want with the game anyway, and people do. So,
for better or for worse.
yes, and because of that, Supernova had to go into production because Konami was like, oh shit, they're not going to stop playing the game. We better do something about this.
Now, an interesting fact about this whole situation, the Rockstar team did not want a CS copy of their game. Actually, Kyle Ward was vehemently against it at the time. Probably they were aware of the legal reasons, but due to a variety of other reasons. You'll notice a lot of songs got censored, and they had to play with the game a lot to get that game to get the proper ratings. Rockstar did not have a lot of money at the time. They had private investors investing in them for In the Groove. And part of the terms were, In the Groove, the investors said, look, Konami's in every shelf, every Best Buy, every GameStop. You need this. And they had actually no choice but to go ahead and to make that CS version.
And it was very painful for the Stepmania team because Stepmania at the time required about twice as much system resources than the PS2 actually had.
Yep.
So In the Groove on the PS2 is a technical nightmare and barely works.
But
That's
it
one of the
works.
reasons it's so slow.
And the lawsuit actually had nothing to do about money and all to do about pride. The Rockstar team actually went to Japan and spoke to Konami at the time and offered a substantial amount, over $1 million, to continue production of In the Groove.
They were going to give Konami all the profits.
Everything they owned.
Everything that they owned, they were going to give to Konami and be like, here, take everything that we have, just let us release In the Groove 3.
Plus of the majority of money from all additional sales of new In the Groove 3 machines.
Yep, they were going to give them everything. They just wanted In the Groove 3 to come out, and Konami said no. Which is why In the Groove 3 doesn't exist. But it still does, I guess?
Now, on the subject,
It's like
of
Schrodinger's
Supernova, though, there are also rumors that Supernova's main deal was to reunite the three regions in the arcades and on the consoles, because as most of the DDR players are aware, there was a huge lag between US, European, and Japanese releases. And Supernova was supposed to bring that all back together. And there are rumors from some high-ranking community members that there are memos from Konami dating back as far as 2002, 2003, that this was always the plan. But Supernova itself was a huge rewrite of the game,
Yep.
and took forever to complete.
It was actually released as a test, almost, as Dancing Stage Fusion,
Yep.
which ran as the first run on PS2 hardware, although it was slightly different than the Supernova hardware.
And DDR Extreme 2 CS in the United States was the first home version of that same engine.
Supernova was actually a big risk for Konami because they didn't know how well it was actually going to do. When they actually pushed forward and released it, and then they were going to do a Supernova 2 location test, and then that actually got canceled because they weren't sure if it was actually going to continue on. And thankfully they ended up releasing it, and DDR continued to move forward. Unfortunately, we lost In the Groove as a result.
Who's played this game here at MAGFest this year?
Yeah. So Harmonix actually worked with Konami, and they made the Karaoke Revolution games. But Rock Band was infringing on a bunch of patents related to the controllers, the UI design, the original content. So they countersued over Rock Revolution because Harmonix had some patents of their own, and they thought that, well, we'll just fight fire with fire, you know? We'll see if we can win the patent game. The lawsuits ended up getting dismissed entirely, which probably worked out for the best. You can actually see some of the patents were licensed for Rock Band, licensed by Konami in the credits. So I think they ended up paying out a little bit, but probably not enough to the point where it would like kill them entirely.
But it was probably more money than Konami made on Rock Revolution.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, considering how rushed it was. At one point, I went into my local Best Buy and could buy a brand new copy of Rock Revolution from a stack for $5 whole United States dollars.
Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy did better.
Konami sued Pentavision. So they made DJ Max. They made DJ Max, but it was practically a clone, and I mean, it really was. So they settled it out of court. They made Technica, which I think was probably way better than anything that DJ Max ever could have been. Touchscreen game, tons of fun, but they ended up folding eventually. The fans keep the game running. So thank you for, I don't know, is Greg around, but program
Gurgle in the room?
program crew lives. All the, everything, all the Pentavision Technica 3 cabinets that originally were posting to the old Pentavision score site are now posting to a fan-run site instead, because he snatched the domain away from Pentavision after it expired.
Interestingly enough about that, I bid on that domain 4 years ago and forgot about it. And then 4 days before Christmas, I got an email letting me know my credit card was charged $75 and I now had a new domain. So I rushed and updated that credit card information because it was wrong, and I gave Greg this domain for Christmas that I did not know I was getting. Fun fact. Interestingly enough as well, so the notes here say that the Technica touchscreen did not violate Konami's patents.
I don't think it did.
Very interesting on this. So Technica, these were some wise asses. Instead of making the target, or the notes move to the target, they made the targets move to the notes. There's a few things here. Namco had already gotten around this with Taiko by making them side-scrolling, and Namco actually had enough money to win this. Pentavision went toe-to-toe against Konami because Konami sued Pentavision over this. While it did not violate Pentavision, Konami has more money than Pentavision. And it doesn't matter if you break the law, all that matters is that you're rich enough to get away with it. So Konami actually ended up making a settlement with Pentavision and got a portion of all of the money from Technica because of this. Now, when Pentavision folded, the core members that actually made Technica left to create Neurojoy, or work with Neurojoy, who is now making Beecraft Cyclone, which is the upgrade for Technica cabinets. So it's the same team that made Technica that's making this game, which is why like all the service menu looks the same and the game's just as buggy as crap.
And then Konami sued Osu.
So, in case you were wondering, this is where we get to the part where they're doing us a favor.
Yeah. So Osu started out as an online simulator for Elite Beat Agents. If you ever played Elite Beat Agents on ES or and then it later evolved into, you know, some 2DX-like gameplay. Everything is fan-based. They import everything into the game. The entire songs, charts, like they don't care.
Fan-based is slang here for pirating.
Yeah. So a cease and desist was sent to them, and all the Konami content was removed. But if you go there now, you can just find it again because
There's still some Britney Spears jams.
yeah.
I
So
love how the screenshot has bandicam.com at the top.
yeah. Because if you ever watch an Osu video, like literally they all use Bandicam. It's all, every single one is an unregistered Bandicam user.
They can't afford to pay enough attention to download Stepmania. How the hell are they going to download a screen cap?
Or even just OBS.
Let's see if this video plays. I really hope it does.
Yes!
So let me tell you. So here's this dude playing Osu.
Considering Ireland's crapscape, that was more. I was second out to 1958.
just like Vanston.
It's just not fun. Mechanics are so shit. You get pissing me off. You're a fucking weirdo. Listen, why am I playing this? This is so shit. I was getting pissed off. Why am I doing this? This is fucking shit. Fucking don't.
So I don't even need to explain how bad OSU is when you have the OSU community itself telling you how bad it is. So I do want to talk about Program World though, because I feel like this is pretty important. So Program World was a Gray Market EMU's network, basically because Konami wouldn't give EMUs to other countries other than Japan. So some people decided to make their own network to do it
Some
instead.
people, most of them are in the room.
This may or may not be. I heard someone yell a real name. Stop yelling real names. Nobody has real names. No one ever worked on this project.
No way. I know nothing about this, and this is all hearsay. So a C&D got sent last April, when all the servers got shut down. And every
It's
arcade...
taking a lot of money away from the American EMU's business.
Yes.
The one that goes down for 2 hours during prime arcade hours.
Yes.
The one that doesn't exist.
So EMU's rumored to be coming to the US officially, no confirmation. We have it at Round 1 arcades. I don't call that confirmed. I'm sorry, that's not enough.
Dave & Buster's claimed it is coming, but then Dave & Buster's also said that every Dave & Buster's location was getting a new DDR machine, and now they just proved that less than a third of their locations are getting a new DDR machine.
Oops.
Thanks, Dave & Buster's.
Hey, don't boo them. They're trying to get us the game in some location.
I mean, basically, it's basically that, right? I mean, right? I mean, that's basically it. That's Konami in a nutshell. That's literally Konami's plan right there. So, I mean, so as a result of that, I mean, that basically happened. So we got put on notice. Everyone did. All right. No, can't be legal.
All right, just click this.
So, all right, so there's some other rhythm games we didn't mention that we should probably at least
Brew Coaster?
Yeah, so Brew Coaster, like use a gun, you know? And this is some really fun stuff. Samba de Amigo, which you don't see enough. There was one at 8 on the break, and then it got... Well, it got...
Got pushed through it during a Smash tournament.
Yes, some Smash kids broke it. Oh, it was Marvel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Either way.
That's so much better.
There's so many characters involved, I forgot they wanted the same game.
But yes, some people broke the cabinet that was at 8 on the break in New Jersey. I don't know if there are any other machines. There might be some in Cali somewhere.
I think Eddie has one.
Yeah, Eddie has one. Along with a Keyboard Mania machine that he still hasn't shipped. Anyway.
Did you just say it's in his UPS warehouse? Is that what you said? You are a hero.
Tycho. Everyone loves Tycho, right? I mean, the game's just fun. Like, I can't take the game
All the
seriously.
Beat songs.
Yeah, I can't take the game seriously myself, but the game is wildly popular, and Namco keeps updating it, and they do a great job with it. The new cabinets are HD. They get downloads from their network to add new songs. It's really good.
I'm sure it has Bad Apple by now.
It probably does.
We won't know. We're all too pale to buy one.
So, Crossbeats. They actually just announced a new Crossbeats at JAPO this weekend, like less than a day ago. So they're going to have another Crossbeats game coming out. Konami also announced 2 new rhythm games. I think I have them in here somewhere, but... Stream.
The good touchscreen game.
We got some Easy to DJ. Yeah, where are my Easy to DJ lovers at? Like,
Where's Evan when you need him?
yeah. So we have
Get to AC!
we have an Easy to DJ cabinet. Well, Evan has one. One person has one here in the U.S. Two? Yeah, Mark. Oh, okay. So, okay.
Eddie LaHecca.
Okay. So three.
Yeah, but he has one of everything. He doesn't count.
Yeah, but he's gonna ship them.
Some cracking DJ. We have a cracking DJ cabinet at Game Underground in Massachusetts. Some of the owners are in the back. Yeah, please. I love cracking DJ. It's such a good game. Shaughnessy Brothers.
Now, Shaughnessy Brothers is really fun in that the electrical contacts are exposed. So if you do it right, you can shock yourself trying to play Shaughnessy Brothers. There was one of these at Tokyo Game Action, an arcade some of you might be familiar with.
This game is more Christian than a Chick-fil-A. I'm surprised it turned on Sundays. And I'd like for all of the good boys and girls of this world to experience the joyous music of the shamisen, like all over the side of this piece of crap. It's shit with fake flowers.
Who the hell bought it and where the hell did it go?
So
It's in a laundromat somewhere in Massachusetts.
listen,
It's literally.
drop off on somebody's front yard.
Yes.
So the only reason that game, so there was an arcade that at the time was competing with Tokyo Game Action. Nice arcade, nothing wrong with them. But they wanted to compete with Taiko, but Taikos were very hard to get at the time. TGA had one and you were not buying them back then. So someone in Japan said, oh, you need Shamisen, brother. It's the same game with toys. So they said, we'll take it. And then down the road, TGA bought them, and then down the road, some laundromat paid $12 in quarters for it. They got screwed.
My, we talked about Technomotion.
That gets claps.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Technomotion, for those who don't know, was a Korean dance game made by F2 Systems. It had 9 panels.
It ran on Windows 98.
Yep, it ran on Windows 98.
Second edition.
It had a 4-panel, 5-panel, and 8-panel mode, which was all but the center. And in the middle of the song, you could actually change the panel mode. Like, you could just step off a pad and press a button right in front of the monitor, and it would change the panels.
I think there were also buttons on the bars that would do that.
No, there were speakers on the bars.
Yes.
That way your ass could hear the music.
Very important feature.
Yes.
I've always wanted my ass to hear the music while playing DDR.
And then we got Museka, which, I mean...
Who's yawning? Is everyone yawning?
Yeah. I just mentioned it just because. Yeah, pretty much. And then we got another video here. I forget which. Oh yeah, so this is Kyle Ward's new thing. So I'm gonna point something out here, okay? So those arrows, right there. See the lights? 4 and then the center. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what this game is going to be about.
So
If I had to venture a guess.
there's some things
And they don't press the corners in game either.
there's some things we know about this game and some things we don't. The particular model that was visible on the screen was an upgrade pad for the tablet that they announced. They announced that giant Android tablet that runs Re-Rave and a few other things. They are working on a dedicated...
That's them starting a song.
They're working on a dedicated arcade version of this, though, that comes with the bars, and it's a pre-designed cabinet with this. But they're also working on a la carte pads, from my understanding, with parts. None of that's official, but that's things I hear. I actually talked to Kyle Ward, and we were going to have a demo of this game playable this year at MAGFest. Unfortunately, some things were just not ironed out, and Kyle was just kind of worried that if he brought this machine and things weren't 100% perfect, none of you would stop bitching about them even after they were fixed.
To be fair, that's a valid concern in this community.
Kyle made a very good decision on that. From my understanding, the way the pads work in this game is unlike anything that Konami's ever done. I threw 3 or 4 ideas together at Kyle about what I thought they used. And while he wouldn't tell me what it was, he said that 3 of those 4 ideas were incorporated into how these pads work. Given that these pads may actually be freaking amazing, there's no corner brackets, so you don't gotta worry about the other group players taking them off. And there is nowhere to put foam under these pads, I asked. So this game, apparently there's a lot going on. There's a lot of rumors this was the game he went to Japan to speak to Konami about. I actually have pretty high hopes that this game is gonna be pretty good. I can guarantee you're going to see one at 8 in the break as soon as it's ready. I know that Tokyo Attack, we brought the arcade machines downstairs. We're in talk to get an early prototype model potentially. That's in the air, but we are trying to buy one as well to bring to events to show off. There's going to be a lot of hype around this game. Whether it's good or not, we'll find out. But I just have one favor to ask everyone here. It's not in the groove. Please be aware it's not in the groove. A, give this game a chance. If you don't like In the Groove, please still give this game a chance. And B, if you do like In the Groove, don't bitch that it's not in the groove, because it's not. I know that when we had Kyle came to the Champions and everyone is going to say, well, no, that's a horrible idea. We want Dedicab, more Dedicabs. We want exactly Dedicab. And that's cool. And you know what? I really wish there was another run of those for those people, because people do like In the Groove. They want Dedicabs. But please do not write this game off because it's not in the groove. And please don't write this game up if you don't like In the Groove, because hopefully it'll have something for everyone.
Yes. So please, support what we're doing, because... Yeah.
I also confirm there's no rim on the front, but we're trying to get one added ASAP.
But here's the question, is Anubis on the game? Is Anubis on the game?
I actually, don't quote me on this, I don't think there's going to be a lot of co-op music. Something people don't realize, there's going to be a lot of co-op music on Re-Raid Plus. I think Kyle's kind of they're spending money, they're getting a lot of artists. I wouldn't be surprised to see co-op music. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Konami licenses, honest. That's just a guess there, but I mean, what the hell else is he doing in Japan besides playing UFO catchers and eating curry?
Wait, there's other stuff to do there than that?
I think there's used penny vending machines.
Oh, cool.
Re-Raid. Or Fuckman, I'm sorry. Same
Love
crap.
Live.
What?
There's Love Live in Japan.
There's no Love Live Arcade in Japan yet. That's coming, and then it'll flop, and then I'll buy a few cabinets for a nickel. But yes, Love Live is a horrible rhythm game. The waifus are the only reason people play it, and they're really bad too.
Yeah, just ask Patchy.
So we have, because I love Music Game Hell, and if you don't love Music Game Hell, you should. I have some really cool shit that probably no one has really ever seen. Like this shit is like rare. Okay?
There's an admin over there.
Yeah. So yeah.
In Love Live.
This I posted. I love this. So someone gutted a fight controller and turned it into a 2DX controller as a result. And yeah, that's like an old CRT. He's probably running Beatmania 2DX. Like I think that's first style right there. What else do we got? Oh. Playing Samba de Amigo on a Guitar Freak's arcade machine. He wired up the Dreamcast Samba de Amigo controllers to a PlayStation port, and
yeah, because most people don't know this, but the controller ports on Guitar Freak's machines, they work up until 11th mix. You can actually just plug in a PS2 controller and go to town on that bad boy.
So whatever input that you think will accept into that, it will take. So yeah.
Which is why you occasionally see these rooms. I've seen one made out of a very long toilet paper tube.
Dan, you may have never celebrated Christmas, but we call that wrapping paper in America. You don't like it. We got a new litter box every year for Christmas, and that was it.
We also have this lovely. Yeah, that's poppin' music. It's poppin' music for the NES, guys. It exists. I swear, that's a thing.
Have you seen the pump bootleg for the Genesis?
Yeah. And then of course we can't. So guys,
this is actually actually Kyle's new game.
Can I talk about In the Groove for a second? Because
Treadmill Simulator 2016.
So, last time I did this, I was like trying to be really nice and friendly, but I realized that my actions trying to be nicer hasn't changed jack shit. Because you're all still a bunch of shitlords doing dumb shit. Like this, which causes shit like this to happen. So please, do not let this happen, okay? Okay? Please clean up after your baby powder.
Or better yet, learn to lift your feet and stop using the baby powder in the first place. If you're not clapping right now, you are part of the problem.
So that's basically all I got. There's about 15, 20 minutes left in the panel if anyone has any questions. So if anyone has any like general questions about like anything, if I don't have the answer, someone else in this crowd probably does have the answer. Because literally like the sum of everyone here, like we know like practically everything, so.
Please ask us questions.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, otherwise I'm just gonna hang out here.
Or we can tell dumb stories. Oh, we got a question.
All right, question over there.
I actually was going to ask a question. What do you think of the recent game Konami, or haven't played it?
That is a phenomenal game. Phenomenal. The Guru Man is an amazing, in my opinion at least, amazing rhythm game. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is it's a horribly
love you too, Frody.
Play on any LCD screen. So pretty much if you don't have the Vita, you're not running it on a Vita or an old CRT, you're not playing it. Or ESP or an old CRT, you're not playing it anymore.
There's a lot of games that obviously exist that we didn't mention in this panel. It's not like I'm trying to exclude.
The big one is Parappa the Rapper. How did we get through this entire panel without bringing up Parappa the Rapper? Because what is wrong with us?
There's only so much time.
But Kid Punch Block.
I know. Yeah, Matt.
After that panel,
Yeah.
how much are you charging for sound advice?
What's that?
Julian.
What are your opinions on the FP and the upcoming sequel to FP?
Yeah, so don't ask me that question ever.
If you are still here, the FP is making a sequel. The FP2.
Yes.
You can donate money now to help make this possible.
Please.
GoFundMe. Save a duck. Give a fuck.
Yes. Please donate. Make the FP2 happen because the first was just amazing. And it deserves a sequel.
If 40 minutes too long, yes.
40 minutes.
Aaron in Japan has really been dead for 6 years. AIJ Bot actually makes all the posts on his real Facebook. That's why they're so crazy.
All right, let's actually get your question.
So, how do you guys feel about the mobile games like Konami? You
Well, it's important to note that we're actually reaching a point in mobile gaming where they're actually starting to understand the design limitations of the mobile gaming platform, and the games that are coming out now are so much better than the things that were coming out when the iPhone first got app support. So I actually think that in the next year or two, we'll start seeing more games in general, but also rhythm games that are actually really, really good on the mobile platform.
It's funny you ask because I actually see my boyfriend playing Love Live right now.
Yeah.
But as previously discussed, that one's pretty bad. Don't worry about that one.
Yes.
Something like that.
When is Andy coming back to the U.S.?
All right, as for Andy coming to the U.S., Andy's working 2 jobs right now. He wants to come back soon. I saw him in Japan a few months ago. So help me, guy David. We're going to deep fry another chocolate taco with him.
That was a great moment. So, well, there was a combination of things.
Arcades in general, there was a big lull in arcades in general for a while. A lot of the malls, the arcades stopped performing well. A lot of the games just were shit quality, to be honest with you. You can really thank, people, the people who just made junky games and shoved them into the arcades. Nobody played them. That's why arcades are failing, because nobody was playing the games.
It's actually interesting to note that in the United States, most of the top-earning arcade games were actually pinball machines until 1999, when we got a release of Dance Dance Revolution.
Yep.
And when DDR Extreme came out, and there was that 4-year lull before DDR Supernova, the community contracted. The community contracted again after Guitar Hero did that thing where they released 17 games in 1 year, and everybody started refusing to stock music games, even from responsible companies like Konami that weren't trying to flood the market.
Yep.
And we're just starting to recover from that now.
The English? Oh, so the
English 2DX.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Konami bought it back.
Yeah. So,
But I played on it.
yeah.
No, they bought it back. They paid for it.
No, so it was lent to Betson, and then Betson sold it to TGA, and then Konami asked for it back from Betson. And Betson was like, well, we don't have it.
We sold it.
And Konami was like, I don't care, I want that cabinet back. So the reason why, that cabinet actually is cabinet number 1. That was the original 2DX cabinet. That cabinet was in the 12th style video of all the people dancing on it. That was cabinet number 1. Yeah, that's why Konami wanted it back. Yeah, that's why Konami wanted it back. That was the one that stayed in their office. They lent it to Betson to show off the English 2DX Gold.
Probably because that was the only copy of 2DX Gold in English that actually friggin' worked at the time.
So Betson sold it to Tokyo Game Action, and then Konami asked for it back. And Betson was like, sorry, we sold it, and Konami still wanted it back.
Konami stiff-armed Betson and said, go get it.
So
Betson wrote a check to Tokyo Game Action.
Yes. And Betson also paid for TGA's air hockey tables because of it, as an inconvenience. Yep.
All right, you.
Yes.
Well, yes and no. So, I think that we'll see rhythm game cabinets in barcades. I just don't think we'll see Dance Dance Revolution, because there's a huge lawsuit factor there.
Up, down, and KC is going to get a DDR cabinet probably. So, yeah.
No comment.
The next big thing that we have planned that's announced is the SakuraCon tournament. So Anime Boston and SakuraCon are the same weekend. So Tokyo
Attack will be at both.
And there's going to be a tournament. And we're giving away a pop-up machine cabinet at Kineticon. Yeah.
We are selling Bright White kits as soon as the hardware is finalized. I promise and swear. My bank account is so unbelievably empty from the development cost of this thing. I really want to take your dollars now, but I don't know how much it's going to cost to produce. The second I know, trust me, I will take your money and pay my credit card bill. I swear this will be the order in which this happens. However, by, I want to say, the end of April, I should be able to, start shipping you your very own EMUs for DDR Extreme kit. Don't worry.
Thank you, everyone.
Panel 1? Panel 1.
All right, that's it.
And thank you for that plug.
While we get this started, I want everyone to take a moment and look at Matt Vanston's shirt. Matt, stand your ass up and spin around. That being said, the flat beat is a horrible game. Everyone in the flat needs to leave.
Matt! Matt! Over here, Matt! Over here!
In case anyone's wondering, we are filming this panel. When we're done, we're going to lose this footage with the footage from the ColossalCon one. It's not actually lost. We all just lead busy adult lives, if you want to call it that.
Oh my god.
Now, I want you all to notice how full this room is and think back to last year when they didn't have this panel because they wanted to have that rock band panel with 6 people.
I fell asleep!
Before that, real quick, just while everyone's here, before you start trickling out, it is 7:44. At roughly 8 o'clock, let's call it 8:10, 8:15, because we all have to get down there. Both the 2DX tournament and the Sound Vault X tournaments are happening. Sigma is running the 2DX tournament.
Yep.
Chooch, stand up for us.
Yeah. He just left. Okay.
And Pachi is running the Sound Vault X tournament.
I don't know if he's still here.
Okay.
He left too.
So,
Okay. So our organizers are responsible, and they left for their respective tournaments
yes,
already.
please make sure that if you're going to go to those tournaments, you got to piss and get a drink and hate your life, do all that after you register. There is, it's endpoint prizes.
The Reflect Beat tournament is at the dumpster out back.
You can't tell me I won't fall apart. So just be honest and straight from the start.